Jai Sai Ram. Welcome to this January 2020 edition of Region 5 Soul Journeys. Today we have with us Dr. Vijay Nadella, who by profession is a consultant anaesthetist and is an active member of the Satya Sai International Organisation UK in Region 5. Previously, he has served as Regional President and Regional Spiritual Coordinator and currently holds the role of President at Sri Satya Sai Group of Halifax. Sai Ram, Vijay Uncle.
Sai Ram.
So to start with, how and when did Swami enter your life?
By the grace of Swami, I was born into a Sai family. My paternal grandmother was the one who introduced Swami to us. But I would also like to say, by being born into a Sai family or somebody telling you that Swami is God doesn't actually mean anything. Everybody has to make their own journey, and it's actually when you make your journey and when you experience Swami, that's when actually you feel that Swami has entered your life. And it's as simple as somebody saying that honey is very sweet. What does that mean to me unless I actually taste the honey and say, yeah, it is sweet. So yeah, that's what I feel. When you actually make that journey, that's when Swami enters your life. So I would like to share a little experience. I think this is going way back to 1960s when my father-in-law, in his first visit to Prashant Nilayam, Swami came in his first interaction. Swami said, why are you coming so late? I have been with you for several births. So it's a very profound statement. What it means is Swami is there with us all the time, but it is us who actually fail to realize that he is with us. So that's what I meant. So Swami is one constant and he is there with us continuously all the time, but it is us who actually don't feel his presence in our lives. So it's a problem with us.
As you've described, Vijay Uncle, you've been part of the Sai fold since birth and quite active. So what are the key messages you've got from Swami in this time?
I should say I was very lucky, and I feel the period between 1990 and 2003 is the time when I came to UK. But during those 10 years, when I was growing up as a young adult, that's when I think my life has really changed a lot, I should say. And I was experiencing, Swami, and through his work, basically. I was very active as a youth member in a Hyderabad youth group. We made several trips to Prashant Nilayam, and, Swami was giving us lots of, key messages. And we were actively taking part in Swami's work. I think some important things I still remember from one of the interviews Swami granted us. He said, the first thing he said is, don't waste food, head, and money. And these are the things which remain with me for life. It's a very simple message, but we have to keep, reminding ourselves of these basic things. Now we are talking so much about save the planet, etc., but that's what Swami said a long time ago. Don't waste food. Head is your thoughts, so don't waste your energy and thoughts on useless things. And money, obviously. And Swami also said, whatever you are today is because of your parents' grace. So never disrespect them. So mother and father are our most important figures in our life. And Swami once he asked me, what is education? And I bravely, managed to say, education is gaining knowledge, Swami. And I thought I gave the best answer. And Swami immediately corrected and said, education is not only gaining knowledge, but it is the practical experience. So I think every day is a learning experience. So when you actually, look at it, for example, as a doctor, my medicine textbooks will tell me how to treat a patient, but it doesn't tell me how to behave as a doctor. So that comes through your practical experience, how to actually speak to the patients, how to maintain their dignity, give them respect. So these are the, I think, few important messages I would like to share with you.
From a very young age, you saw Swami physically in your school days, in your young adult days, and even when you came to the UK, you went back for his darshan. But did you face any challenges or have any experiences when he went from form to formless?
I never, to be frank, I never had any issue with that, whether Swami is present physically or not present physically. Because even if you think about it on a practical basis, how many times we have actually gone and seen him. See, for example, I was in the UK. I was only seeing Swami whenever I went to India or probably, So our physical interaction is only it's a minuscule thing in this whole context. So we are more attached to his formless, I would say, rather than to his form. And the beauty is, for me, Swami is just not that physical body walking around in the orange robe. But when you go to Prashanti Nilayam, everything is an experience, everything is Swami. The people you meet there, the people who come from different parts of the world, and those small, those massive buildings which keep coming up every time you go to the ashram, like either the super specialty hospital or the university buildings. So all that is Swami to me, rather than just the physical, body. So I don't think I had any issue with this physical or no physical presence, or it doesn't affect me at all.
Okay, so adding to that, has Swami ever come in your dreams?
Like even when Swami was there physically, I had few dreams, and even after leaving his body, I had few dreams. But for me, the concept of dream is actually an interesting one, because I would take it as a darshan rather than a dream. Because lots of times, we think that, Swami is going to appear today. I've done a fantastic prayer, intense sadhana. Today night he's going to come in my dream. But it doesn't happen like that. Or sometimes you're desperate for a message and you want Swami to come and tell you lots of things, but he doesn't come even then. Swami comes only when he wants. So I think it's a darshan more than a dream. And I would like to say, one or two beautiful things. I experienced were like, it only makes me feel that or realize more that he is omnipresent. One day I was carrying Swami's picture and I was going through a little bush and, sorting out for an event. And I felt, this bush might hurt Swami, though I was carrying his picture. And later on, I think 2 days later, it was New Year Eve, and I took a selfie with Swami, thinking that this New Year I should start on an auspicious way. And I was thinking Swami is my family, etc., etc. You will not believe, that night, Swami came in my dream, and there was a photographer sitting, and Swami actually called the photographer and said, can you take a picture for both of us? And he gave me a little certificate as well. So, I think what makes me feel is he was actually listening to my conversation that evening that I wanted a selfie with Swami. That's one example I clearly remember. Yeah.
Such a beautiful experience. Thank you for sharing that with us. How does Swami provide guidance in your professional work life?
It's a very interesting question, because I remember when I was studying, anesthesia in India back home, Swami asked me as to what I do. And I said to Swami, I'm studying anesthesia. And 2 seconds later, he again turned to me and he said, what did you just say? Can you say again? And then I said, Swami, I'm studying anesthesia. And Swami said, you can't even pronounce well. You have to say that you are an anesthetist. It's a very nice conversation. Swami burst the ego of me that I can't pronounce well, but also at the same time what he means is it's not the actual physical pronunciation. I think most of us, in whatever profession we are not giving it 100%. When I say 100%, it's just not the actual physical work. I think applying Swami's principles is what he means. That's what I think he means by pronunciation. If I applied that, like treating my patients with love and care and affection, having that empathy, that's when I'm a true anesthetist. When a patient comes for a big operation, they are very anxious. I think those are very few important, crucial moments. I need to give them that courage. So this is what I think every day. I think about this. Am I being an anesthetist according to what Swami said? That's how I keep it going.
Faith is a key driving force in the work that you do, Vijay Uncle, as part of your profession and in the region as part of the organization. So what is it that's made you have such strong faith in Swami?
As you rightly said, faith is a key factor, and it's like a foundation for the building, and it's not just made in a day or a few hours or somebody telling you about it. It is built over a period of time. So all your life experiences and your interactions with various other Swamis, devotees, how actually Swami deals with things, seeing him at work. So those are the things which build up your faith, and obviously prayer is very important, and constantly asking, praying to Swami that to be with us and guide us. I think that these are the key things which help us keep that faith. I would also, I'm very keen to share this experience because I remember once I had a conversation with my close friend who now lives in US while we were studying medicine. He was talking about visiting a particular temple rather than going to Puttaparthi, and at the time I told him off, saying that there's no point in going to any other temples and etc. etc. I think the deity in that temple was Raghavendra Swami, who is quite popular in South India. It was my ignorance to actually say that. But you'll not believe, actually Swami later on, I think probably that night, he came in my dream and he gave me a ring with Raghavendra Swami on it. And I actually had the guts, I should say, I'm proud to say that, I had the courage to actually stand up to Swami and say, Swami, I don't believe in anything else, take this ring back, I have faith only in you and nobody else. And Swami smiled at it, he didn't tell me off. He actually blew on the ring and gave it back to me, and that ring then changed from Raghavendra Swami to Swami. So I'm very happy about the dream that I could tell Swami how much faith I had in him. Yeah, that was a very beautiful dream I had.
You and your family are active members of the Satya Sai organization in the region. So what inspires you to do his work?
Yeah, again I should say, by the grace of Swami, I'm very lucky that my wife, she is a Swami student, and both my children actually actively take part in Swami's events and bhajans, etc. So I'm lucky in that aspect. So the other thing is, Swami always says, always be happy. And we all do things which make us happy. We don't do things which make us unhappy. So Swami's work gives me happiness. So it's a simple that happiness is the inspiring, and ultimately, Swami himself is very inspiring. So that's what inspires me to continue Swami's work.
You visited Prashanthi Nilayam ashram many times in your secondary school days and as a young adult member in Hyderabad. So can you describe to us a typical visit to Prashanthi Nilayam in those days?
It was, we were all very young, and we didn't have enough basically what I should say, money. So all the money we spent was like a little collection we saved over a few days, or it was pocket money from our parents. So we pulled it up. And we used to go on village trips to do some medical camps and then carry on to Prashanthi Nilayam. So we used to, usually, I think if I'm right, we usually used to go for 3 days, 4 days. On occasions, we used to, the Hyderabad boys at the time were heavily involved with the canteen work, serving food during those big festivals like Guru Purnima, Mahashivaratri. So Swami actually used to give the entire canteen to the Hyderabad youth, which was like, at the time, if I am right, there were around 300 youth. It was a fantastic experience. So, obviously we used to sleep on the corridors, etc., in the accommodations. We used to get up at 4 in the morning because there is a long queue for the showers, everything. So, those are the little things, if I think about now. I think some of our youngsters probably won't understand what a hassle it was. But it was beautiful because Swami always took care of us.
And what was darshan time like?
Oh God! Because when we were doing the work in the canteen, etc., we didn't have time to actually have Swami's darshan, and we used to miss his darshan. But we always made a point that after the whole festival finishes, we spend another day or so, have Swami's darshan properly, not sneaking and peeking over the walls and like that kind of. Swami also made sure that he sent us back with abundance of love and grace. So we were waiting for those last few moments after the whole, the busy period finishes.
There was a lot of seva work that you've described that you did in your young adult days. So what key messages do you have for the young adults of today in the Satya Sai International Organization?
See, like when we were growing up, Swami, I should say, he tended us so beautifully, and I think we never had a feeling that he's like God who has got all these powers. He was just like a mother with so much love, more than our physical mother, He used to tell us simple things, like as I said earlier, respect your parents, don't waste money, food, etc. And I think one other most important thing which stuck with me all these years is, I asked Swami once, Swami, I'm studying medicine. After my course, can you give me some more training in your hospital? And Swami then immediately said, how long do you want this training for? During your course, you have to put your heart and soul into it. You have to study so hard. And at the end of the medicine course, you should be good. And he also clearly said, this is a life course, and slow and steady always wins the race. This is not a race course. By this, what Swami means is, like as young adults, we always compare ourselves. He's achieving this, he's earning so much, he's driving this. We are constantly, I think, subconsciously, even if we don't say it out, we might be thinking, is he more successful than me? So we are comparing ourselves constantly with somebody else. So what Swami clearly says is, don't indulge in this race course, which is like a rat race. Just stick to your path. Just focus on what is your goal and work towards it, and you will be happy. That's what I learned at Swami's feet.
Adding to this, with Swami's grace, you've held a few roles in his organization. So on the basis of this, what guidance and messages do you have for the young adults?
See, as young adults, there is a lot to go through. You're through the busy period of your life, studying, but also at the same time, there are lots of distractions and you're constantly in this turmoil. Simple, keeping Swami as the center of your life. Swami several times said, marks vachna rakapoina parledu, but don't get remarks, which means whether you get plenty of marks or not, that's not important, but don't get any remarks. That's very crucial. It's a very important point. And also, when we do Swami's work, we might be thinking, is he actually noticing it? Or so I'll share one beautiful example. Brother Giridhar said to me once, Anjali, Susila is a fantastic, famous singer in South India. She was about to sing, but the mic was not working, and Swami was in front of her. And apparently she said to Swami, this mic is not working. So Swami said, I am here in front of you. Whether anybody hears or not, that doesn't matter. I am the one who is wanting to hear. So carry on with your song. So in a similar way, what we are doing is between you and Swami. Don't bother about anybody else. And lastly, I would also say, Swami several times he said to us, when you get bad thoughts, tell yourself you are a man, you are not a monkey. If you get anger, or if you get angry at something, tell yourself you're not a dog, you're a man. This is what Swami said to us. So I think these are simple messages. Keeping Swami as the center of your life, and keeping your, as I said, if you get bad thoughts, tell yourself you're not a monkey. And lastly, the relationship is between you and Swami and nobody else. Thank you.